Good day, panels. My groupmates and I would like to present to you our research proposal. In today's pandemic, there are a lot of industries and businesses that have been greatly affected by the impact of the COVID-19. As a student studying the hospitality management, we are curious to know on how well prepared some hotels are during the GCQ and MGCQ and in generally this pandemic. From their protocols, safety regulations, and how well can they still provide the needs of the guests during these times. With that, my groupmates and I created the title of our study, The Level of Preparation of Selected Hotels under GCQ, MGCQ areas that fully offer capacity. The researchers' aim of this study is to see how well some hotels can still cope with the new normal hospitality, and to know the struggles on how well they are prepared in this pandemic. So without further ado, let us discuss to you our research proposal. One of the fastest growing service business in the Philippines today is the hotels. In 2013 annual survey, short-term accommodation was the second to the highest number of establishments in the country. A hotel is a form of building, symbols, cooperate, or business entity that provides service lodging, food and beverages, and other service facilities where all services are intended for the general public, both those who stays overnight and to those who use certain facilities owned by the hotel. DOT target 10 million tourists in the Philippines every year. Due to the recurrence of COVID-19, it may not be able to happen. Also, the hotel industry in the Philippines suffered a lot of damages, including the revenues and room quota per day. And hospitality workers lost their job since hoteliers cannot reimburse easily the losses of their revenue and cannot give remuneration for their workers. Other facilities in the Philippines, including the malls and banks, were also closed. With that, the researcher conducted this study to know the preparation of some hotels, specifically in the area of Cavite. After the lockdown, there are some hotels that had been closed due to bankruptcy because some were not able to cope up with their losses. Some hotels are also being used as a facility for some patients of the COVID-19. This study mainly focuses on the hotels that are still running and are not being used as a facility for the COVID-19 patients. Statement of the problem. The aim of this study is to determine the level of the preparation of the selected hotels under GCQ, MGCQ areas that fully offer capacity. This research
For our conceptual framework, we come up to an idea to get the insights of those hotel staff or workers who are now working with full capacity during the pandemic time. And for the scope and limitations, well, we, the researchers, conducted a study that focuses on how to determine the level of preparation of selected hotels in GCQ and BCQ areas that fully offers capacity. Reliability. Now, for the review of related literature, it is about the study of the level of preparation of selected hotels in GCQ and MGCQ area that fully offer capacity. Impact of pandemic to our hospitality industry, the travel restrictions and social distancing policies is a must because this is a protocol of our government that we need to follow. Most hotels were greatly affected that it led to rapid shutdown of their operations of the hotels because of COVID-19. It is temporary until we have a new way of preparation to handle a tourist. The preparation for new normal in GCQ and MGCQ has guidelines they need to follow and strictly not to do their guest or tourist. Before the guest enters a hotel, they need to disinfect and get the temperature to know the guest if it is okay. For the employee, like housekeeping duties, streamline the accommodations most closely division with the housekeeping program. Housekeeping is vital work in conveying important guest encounters. The Department of Tourism released guidelines for the hotels to operate in GCQ and MGCQ. First, they cannot operate without a DOT certificate. They cannot accept from bookings from leisure travelers because when the hotel is placed under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ, they will be allowed to accept room bookings from all guests, including those who intend to stay for work or leisure. The hotel who is in GCQ and MGCQ to operate is Grand Hyatt Manila, who offers an antigen test which is required for the guests to check in. This test can be done in less than an hour. Grand Hyatt Hotel is the only hotel who undergoes an antigen test before check-in. And Shangri-La Hotel health and security operational conventions have been executed in order to pick up guests certainly meet this day.
This study employs a qualitative phenomenological method. In this study, the researchers use a qualitative research method to gain richly detailed understanding of the preparations of selected hotels in GCQ and MGCQ areas based on the experience of the participants. The qualitative research method is used to provide a great opportunity for precise information about what participants incite and their study. This research will be conducted in the province of Cavite. This place was selected for knowing the announcement of the DOT. Hotels under GCQ and MGCQ may now be allowed to operate at full capacity. Cavite is a tourism destination for local and foreign visitors. It is also a perfect getaway for people seeking respite from the daily pressures of life in Metropolis. It is home to numerous hotels and convention centers. The research is aiming to gather information from interviewing certain number of participants from different hotels in Cavite. The researchers will be interviewing 15 respondents from different hotels in Cavite. Participants will be limiting from 20 years old to 50 years old. This study aims to determine the level of preparation of selected hotels in GCQ and MGCQ areas. This study focuses on how hotel employee or staff deal with the tourists and guests who wants to stay in their hotel. The preparation and guidelines done before they fully offer capacity amidst pandemic.
Chapter 3 Instrumentation. The instrument that will be used to gather data and opinions of the respondents is an online interview wherein the questions will be according to the statement of the problem. The researchers will be utilizing an unstructured questionnaire, which the respondents may share freely their opinions, knowledge, and about the topic. The interview will be held through virtual and audio conference application with 5 hotels within province of Cavite. As the respondents, the researchers will document the whole interview and collect the necessary data by using recording interview session. In this research, the process of constructing research instrument that could be appropriately gathering data on this study. Data gathering. The research will accumulate data identified with the opinions of the factor. The information gathered will be researcher further knowledge to decide the best instrument to utilize for the problem. To start the information gather method, the research will be their research instrument approved by their professor in research in tourism and hospitality. The letter of consent participant prior to the distribution of the survey by approve of College of Dean and our advisor. Data analysis procedure. In this study, the research will be using discourse analysis wherein the interpretation of language is used. This will be helpful to increase the understanding of the researcher regarding the study. The data source could be in form of interviews, observation of the review of documents.
For the credibility, researchers addressed credibility in the study through the building and ensuring that the research interview questions were validated. In particular, interview questions were validated by the pool of advisors and to the dean. Likewise, researchers returned the transcriptions to the participants to affirm the veracity of the information that